Cricket is my passion and I cannot avoid it. Well, the World Cup has kick-started in great style. When I say great style, there has been upset in the first game where Namibia has gone on to upset Sri Lanka. To discuss about what happened with Sri Lanka, I have a Sri Lankan legend who was a part of the winning squad which won the 2014 T20 World Cup and who was also part of during the Asia Cup, the great Angelo Mathews. Welcome to the show, Angie.
Thanks, Anis. A pleasure to be back.
I can see the smile missing from your face, what was there during the Asia Cup. Angie, what happened? How would you sum it up today?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought it was a disappointing performance. Nothing taking away from Namibia. I thought Namibia played extremely well. They played their A game, and we didn't have all our bases covered. I mean, we started off really well, and then till the 13th over, we were pretty good. But then that last 6 overs really made the difference. They didn't have too many wickets in the hand, but they just kept attacking us, kept looking for the boundaries, and they got the boundaries. And I thought when it came to batting, I thought we were not ready because the wicket, obviously, it's not Dubai or the subcontinent, so the wicket plays differently in Australia, and then the ball hits on top of your bat all the time, and so I thought that really played a part. I just saw that we were not really ready. I thought the Zimbabwe game, the warm-up game was also very crucial. Not being able to play that was, acclimatizing is one big thing when it comes to foreign conditions.
You played in Australia. Now we're talking about conditions that it's a pity that the washout did not help Sri Lanka, but it's the bounce which you felt there was a lot of bounce on the wicket today.
Yeah, I mean, it can be the same length, but the bounce is different. Comparing with the subcontinent and in Australia, especially because we've heard and we've played so much of cricket. We know that there is extra bounce in Australia, but you have to sort of get used to playing on those wickets. It's not easy to get used to. I mean, when you go from the subcontinent, and some get used to it pretty quickly because the horizontal bat shots come into play quite quickly over there. So, but it's just the bounce that it's just that 6 inch of a bounce. It makes a massive difference when it hits the bat. So that's something that the batters have to work on.
Rasan Almond was telling on commentary, it's the back of the length. Now, can you explain to all our viewers what is the back of a length delivery which the bowlers were bowling from Namibia?
So obviously, when it comes to a back of a length, so Namibia bowled pretty well. I thought they had a plan. I mean, our bowlers also had a plan, but it's just that with the shorter boundaries on either side, they took on the shorter boundaries. So I thought maybe we could have just bowled more fuller to get them to play straighter for the longer boundaries. But I thought they were hitting it square even in the last 6 overs, and they got 60, 65 odd in the last 5-6 overs, which really hurt us badly. And back of a length obviously depends on the wicket and the ground, because back of a length obviously that's where I say if you bowl fuller and and you take about 2-3 yards towards the bowler, that's back of a length, and that's we call it hitting the hard lengths, and that's where you have to sort of practice your shots at training, where you can probably from the front foot itself you go over mid wicket, but to do all that you need to be able to know the exact bounce, and if you don't know the exact bounce, then it might be difficult to play the horizontal bat shots.
Yeah, you're right. Matthews did mention about what a back of length is, the hard ball, where it is not actually in the arc, but a little towards the bowler. Now, another thing which you also mentioned, the big boundaries in Australia, especially the straight boundaries and not the short boundaries. So in this conditions, what do you advise to the players?
I think especially when it comes to bowling and especially when it comes to, and even in the first 6 overs, or if you feel like the batsman is going after you, I think it depends on the ground that you play. But this particular ground in Geelong, the square boundaries were very short. I thought one was about 60, if I'm not mistaken. The other one also was around that. So it's very easy if you bowl back of a length. If the straight boundaries are more than 70, 75, then you got to try and get them to hit to the longer boundary and clear the longer boundary. So that is something that we can do well in the next preparation, but it might be a whole different venue, whole different line when it comes to square. The next ground can be the square wickets can be longer, so you have to sort of adjust to it at the time.
But Angie, you were talking about the other grounds, but what I understand, the matches are playing for Sri Lanka and Namibia, and the other team, which is Holland and UAE, they are playing all in Geelong. So they would get used to the conditions there. So they have 2 more games. So now Sri Lanka has got a setback, which happens to any teams. As you said, this game is a great leveler. But the net run rate of Sri Lanka is a worry.
Yeah, this especially the T20 format, is a great leveler. As we always say, we can't be complacent. We can't take any team lightly, because we saw how professional Namibia was today. And if you're not on your A game when it comes to a big tournament like this, you're behind the 8 ball. So I'm hoping this will be like the Asia Cup, where we lost badly in the first game to Afghanistan, and then we came back really hard. And I mean, we were able to win the Asia Cup. And mind you, this is whole different conditions. So we need it's not familiar conditions for us. So that is going to be the challenge. Conditions are the challenging part when it comes to, because all the teams are equally good. We can't say this team is underdogs. We cannot, because we cannot rule anyone out. We saw, I mean, especially Namibia, they've got the likes of Freiling and
David Vise.
Vise has played for South Africa as well, and we got Bard, Erasmus. All these guys are so very equipped, and they played some cricket overseas, so they knew their game. They had a plan. They had a clear plan, and I thought, I hope it's just an off day for us, and we can come back really strong in the next one.
As a captain, you've been part of a Sri Lankan team and you've experienced. So sometimes when you come across, I wouldn't like to use the word minnow, but an associate nation, is it that you tend to slacken a bit?
Not slack. I think when you play a team like this, it's added pressure, because at the back of your mind, you just can't lose, and then the pressure does funny things for people, and there are people who can absorb the pressure beautifully. They will take on the pressure, but some can crack. So and also it depends on the day. So it's a funny old game, as we always say. When we play teams like this, it's added pressure, and then the other teams got nothing to lose. So they just, you saw the way they batted from ball one. They just wanted to prove a point. They had nothing to lose. They played with a lot of freedom. They took on Mahesh Deekshana and Wanindu as well, and they just wanted to take on the game, and that is a plus point for a team like Namibia. So that's what we have to do in the next game. We just got to take on the challenge. We got to take on the pressure, because we know we've come back strongly in the past, and just shut away everything what happened today, and then come back strong in the next game.
Well, the equation is quite simple for Sri Lanka. They've lost one game, but they're not out. They need to win the next two games against UAE and Netherlands. And if they do that, they are into the next round, irrespective of the net run rate. So what would be your advice? Like you said, there's added pressure when they play this game. What would you advise Dasun and his team?
Yeah, not so long ago, we got to the Asia Cup final and we won it. And this was the exact scenario which they had to face in the Asia Cup. First game was a really bad game. So I'm sure they know how to get back into the groove. And we know it's a big World Cup. Pressure is on every single ball, every single game. There's pressure. But just like the Asia Cup, when most of the people wrote them off after the first game, they came back really strong and stunned the entire world. And that's what they have to do. I mean, next two games are vital. They all know that. They know themselves. And we've got the talent, we've got the skill. It's just the mindset that you need to sort of take on the game rather than pushing backwards or rather than holding back. You just have to take it on. Don't worry about the opposition. Just go out there, enjoy the competition, and do your best.
The injury of Madhushanka, a big loss. You feel the left arm?
Yeah, I think it was a big loss because left armers who can swing the ball is generally very threatening to even left-handers. So Deshan Madhushka bowled extremely well in the Asia Cup, and he bowled against the likes of Virats and Rohits, and he got it. He definitely got it. He's got that firepower in him, and it is actually a very big loss because in an important tournament like this, you need your best players to be able to compete in the entire tournament, whatever happens. So yeah, but I think we've still got Binura Fernando flying out from Sri Lanka today or tomorrow, and he'll be joining the team shortly. So he's got experience as well. He's coming after the injury too, so he'll be a little bit rusty, but his experience, he can use his experience to acclimatize as soon as possible.
Well, that's what Mathews says, that Sri Lanka just have to make sure that they bring up the A game. This is like a wake-up call as they had during the Asia Cup, where people had written them off, but they bounced back. But this is different conditions, bigger tournament, different, rather more number of teams. It's not going to be easy. We'll have to wait and watch one step at a time. That's what Mathews says. We'll come back to Mathews in the next game for Sri Lanka. Till then, thank you very much, Angie. And we hope Sri Lanka can do what they did in the Asia Cup.
Pleasure, Anis. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.